Hello and welcome back to another episode of Review Your Death Clips. My name is Syken. I have played quite a bit of World of Warcraft Hardcore. I have leveled every class to level 60, did all of the content including killing KT on both sides. So let's jump right into it and see what kind of death clips we have today. Alright, let's start off today's episode with Hillsbrad. Oh, the good old Hillsbrad Foothill quest. Yeah, he's dead. If that guard catches up to him, he's toast. His pet is already down, and the guard is running faster than Cheater, so... There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry to see that, but it's not surprising. This is potentially one of the most common death in Hillsbrad. So let's take a look at that in particular. So the zone, Hillsbrad Foothills, does have one particular quest that requires you to move to down here, South Shore, and actually go to the graveyard, which you find down here, and bury a couple of plants in one of the graves there. The reward of the quest is bad, you should not do it, and quite frankly, the biggest issue there is that there is no real reward for taking that much risk. The Hillsbrad guards are level 50 or 55. Doesn't matter for the purpose of the argument. Basically, at the point in time when you are doing the quest, they are so far ahead of you level-wise that their aggro range is massive. So let's take a look at what this gentleman could have done better. For starters, clearly a knowledge gap, because he didn't know the danger that he gets himself in, and that's a problem. So I will only mildly fault him for that. Seems to be the first character, doesn't have really large backs as well, and runs around with Cheater and semi-happy pet. So that's kind of where we stand as the video starts. Now, a few things that he could do better. Number one, enemy nameplates would be a start. He's not seeing any of the guards, and with the resolution, might play on a little bit older computer, it's very difficult to see any of that. So he's moving in. This here, the little pixel stack is a guard. There's a guard. Over here is a guard behind the hill, and there are like around 30 NPCs here that would all kick his rear if he gets too close to them. So the correct play here is to not do the quest. It's as pretty much simple as this. But let's review and talk about what else you could do if you want to definitely do the quest. He as a hunter could do the quest a little bit safer around level 30 when he gets Feign Death. Feign Death will be resisted a lot of times against higher level enemies. However, there are a couple of things that you can do in order to prevent that. If you Feign Death out of line of sight, so behind a tree stump, it can never be resisted. So he could do that, for instance, and cleverly play with a pet that he sends in, takes a couple of hits. In the meantime, he goes behind a tree and Feign Death is the guard off of him. So I would still not recommend it, but that would be kind of the advanced way of playing it. He has 2 bandages, a little bit of hit point potions, and he doesn't even have speed potions at this point. Playing Horde, that's not good, because there are Baron's quests that give you 5 speed potions. 3 speed potions he has. My bad. He has not bound the speed potions, which is horrible. He even has Sticky Glue, also not bound, so there are the improvements. Sticky Glue will not work against the guards, they are too high level, but the speed potion very much can get you out of trouble. So, knowledge gap, then here he is aggroing a guard. He does not have any configuration that tells him that he has aggro. Even the standard interface allows you to give yourself a warning message when you draw aggro. He should do that. He does not have nameplates either. So at this point he's looking at chat and conveniently kind of running over to this tower, completely zoned out. Now the nameplates come in. He's using Plater as far as I can tell, but this is like 20 feet radius. I don't know why he would have configured it in such way. Pet is put on passive, but still attacks him. How did he click a macro to attack the guard? I don't think that the pet attack is a bad one. That's actually not too bad. That was a decent reaction. He targets guard, yes. And potentially somewhere behind here, we're seeing we're not seeing what he's doing. But the guard is now on the pad. With pad being on passive, he must have individually done that. Good, very good. So, could he still escape? Yes, if he had bound his sticky glue and his speed potion. I would not sticky glue the guards because it re-leashes. The way that leashing works in a short sentence is the point of origin down here is the starting point. If you pull them too far away, then they will run back. And the running period is 8 seconds plus a value based on the difference of your level and their level. So in other words, the higher their level, the longer they will chase you. So that's a very short version of a complicated mechanic. With that in mind, you are extending a leash every time you are doing something to the enemy, such as concussive shot or whatnot. So since he likely cannot hit any of his abilities, running is the best option. He should run straight for the hills, but he should speed pot, and that's the only way to get out of it. He also made the mistake of not given that the pet is following him now, I might retract my statement. I gave him too much credit for actually letting the pet attack. Maybe the guard actually aggroed to the pet and not to him. That is the more likely option, because the pet was further on the left hand side and was lower level. So the fact that he didn't put the pet on stand was another mistake. The guard here was so actually what happens is guard aggro's pet. Yep, pet is closer, lower level, therefore takes aggro. He realizes it. Okay, fair enough. Guard almost catches him. He turns around. Guard is on pad, as you can see. And the correct play here is control 3. Let the pet stand here. If he would have done that, look where the guard stands. Pet is still available, takes 1 hit. Guard would still be down there. Pet takes 2nd hit. Guard is still down there. Pet takes 3rd hit. Okay, so he would be at this tree line, whilst the guard would be away potentially 35-40 feet if he would have done that. So that's option number 2 of how you could have solved that. Let the pet die, run, take your speed potion and never look back. Don't do the quest. Alright, death number 2, Nubert. BRD. Chucks a mana potion. Oh, I know what they're doing.
Oh shit! Oh shit! We gotta run.
Oh no! Oh.
Oh fuck!
Okay, a lot to unpack here. I'll make it quick though. Good, we're in BRD. We're playing as a priest. Priest is difficult to say with the. All right, I try to improve the quality a bit, but even though I'm on HD, it's very, very marginally better. Anyway, so let's take a look at his UI. He's the healer of this group. They are currently doing the jail section of BRD, which should be relatively straightforward. There is a problem though that these packs are positioned in a way that they can aggro if they are running away. Group consists of tank, double hunter, plus mage, which should be absolutely zero problem to do that. He himself is level 57. A pretty low tank, but okay for the jail area, 56 Hunter and 2 other 50s. So relatively low for BRD in general. Has bartender setup down here, has target of target, so all of that is okay. Buffs are running, which is fine. He himself, I can't see his buffs really. It's too zoomed in. Anyway, so a couple of things that are going wrong here. When you do have a hunter in this section, I would always suggest to have a slow trap, just making it easier, and it's better on the mana of the mage. Blizzard works, but you could deal higher damage and still have the slowing effect. Bit of a strange setup with the group down here. If it works for him, fine. He has configured his frames to be kind of raid frames. All of them also have these extra descriptions, which I don't know. It's good for review, but that's about it. These two are, I would assume, the pet frames. Anyways, the tank is at 50%. He's casting a greater heal. So far, things are good. You were seeing people run. That's a DPS problem. That's an actual pretty sizable DPS problem, because they do have 2 hunters that are just not really caring. The hunter here decides to rather multi-shot and parse instead of concussive shots. So Walaka, the mage, is taking it on to himself to now cast the Frostbolt, hopefully rank 1. But Walaka has an enemy on him, which I could have guessed after the initial threat with Blizzard. So Volaka doesn't make it very easy for the healer. We're seeing an ice block from him because he doesn't want to die. Healer is pretty much oblivious to the situation, and you can see his mouse hovers over that guardsman. The reality is nothing that he could do at this point will change the outcome of the guardsman running. That's the job of the DPS, and if we're actually super precise, not the tank but the other 3 DPS, to make sure that they're not running. The hunters failed pretty miserable here, and that mage did what they could, but didn't really play the aggro game very well. Could go into a long description of what the mage did wrong, but let's just say he could have played that better as well. Anyways, as a healer, you just gotta face the situation at this point. Mage is currently in the ice block and remains there. The correct play would not be to move. He potted mana pot, which is smart. I would do that as well, because mana pots create threat, and currently your threat table consists out of this guy and maybe one more enemy here. So when this guy will pull the extra enemies, you are not going to take aggro from it. So that's actually a good play. Mana pot, however, as you can see, does not incur global cooldowns, and that's where the problem begins. He should, at this point, the correct play at this point would be to slap a renew on the tank just to keep him going and do a greater heal on the mage. 2700, that's just 1 greater heal. And the reason why I'm saying this is you need to account for the next pack coming in, and therefore shield would not be good, and greater prayer of healing would also not be good. He does have a Holy Nova, so he could theoretically do that as well, but it's very expensive. I stand corrected, we have 2 more enemies here and 1 more enemy here, so it's actually 4. It's a very, very tough situation. If I'd be in Discord with these guys, I would call to make sure to use cooldowns. Tank needs to use cooldowns here. Changes to shield, which is good. AoE taunt lip or AoE taunt into shield wall to prevent the doom. And I would be very clear that the DPS needs to wake up, because there is a person running. Everybody abandons their post, as it seems at this point, and the tank takes even more aggro. Problem from the healer perspective here is he's not healing, and that's going to bite him. Remember how I said call out cooldowns, do a renew, and then do a greater heal. in the time that he walked over here, he could have done all of that. He now targets the mage with a flash heal, whilst his tank is at 20%. This is really sad to see. He targets the tank at basically 1%. The only thing that works here is a shield at this point. And he mouse over heals the mage. Oh man, that is rough. I mean, the tank could have used a potion. I don't know what his potion cooldown was. Like I said, shield wall should be going. I don't see his buffs, which makes this a bit more difficult, but I now see that someone is coming from back here, which tells me another enemy has been running. He correctly predicts the S word, and then he basically goes down. So yeah, pretty sizable playing mistakes here. That could have been done better. All right, last one. Let's go with big and large.
Going out.
Velastras, all right.
All right. I'm gonna need to summon when the boss dies. Strat guys.
Solo.
Heal?
What happened?
Ouch.
Heal.
Okay, well, that's a raid clip. Let's break that down. So Velastra's second boss in Blackwing Lair is a DPS check, but has a couple of abilities as well. So typically how Velastra's is being done is how these guys do it. You put 2 portals here and here, because Velastra's will give individuals a burning debuff that reduces their health over 10 seconds, and no matter how much health you have, you're going to die after 10 seconds. So what you're going to do is you're just running out, go into town, and then the debuff ends. Second part is during the fight, Velestra starts at only 20% health, and you get this huge buff that regenerates rage and energy and mana, so everybody can parse as much as they want. And you're therefore kind of splitting up your camps into a caster camp over here and a melee camp over here, and then the tank that faces Velestra. So these guys are doing most of the stuff correct, and is actually not big one large who F's up, but the melee camp. Now, here's the thing, they are playing Horde. Horde raiding is more difficult than Alliance raiding. I know that's not a contentious take, and the whole reason why that is because of threat. And in this encounter, you gotta manage your threat very, very well. So Velestras at no point should be facing someone else than the tank for a long period of time, because Velestras also has a fiery breath, and that fiery breath deals not only a lot of damage but also burns afterwards, which means everybody should have fire juju, which this guy has, and a greater fire protection potion. So I'm not seeing anything wrong here other than him not having fiery ward, because he's a hunter. Never mind, forget that I said anything. He actually did very well. Now, let's see who doesn't do very well. So Rohard is their main tank, and you can see things are going well. The problem is that Velestras, being that low on health, automatically you start in the execute phase, and that means all of the warriors are going to crazily pump and deal DPS. Velestras does these blast waves as well, deal a little bit of damage, but that's not the big problem here. The big problem starts at exactly that point. And here is where things are becoming problematic. Webby My Ash is the guy who does have Death Wish on, and is having Recklessness on, and he's just pumping at this point. Mind you, that's not a very clever idea to wreck on this boss, specifically because these guys are having a lot of DPS. Maybe he's just trying to pause. No surprise that the guy who deals most of the damage, Webby My Ash, has now overtaken the tank. The only thing that Webby could do at this point in order to rectify his sins is immediately hit that lip button. The problem though is it's already too late. Look at that, turns around, Velestras is casting Flame Breath. So it's yet again another death where another warrior in the execute phase just couldn't keep his pants closed. Flame Breath is coming in, and look at that. So, this is a massive hit. They have a Feral Druid, DPS Cat on that side, and Valestras turns around, and you can see that all of the melees, the Browns and the Druid, as well as both of the Rogues, are taking the breath. Well, Mazu seems to have resisted it, but Feral Druid died. Web My Ash is almost dead, and he's not the only one wrecking. Look at that. Wreck. Yep, that's a problem. And Web My Ash got killed. Afterwards, Blast Wave into, I think, 2 death. Only thing that is regrettable is that another player died. Web My Ash completely deserved that death, and he's the type of raider that I always found problematic. Not watching your aggro or your threat is an issue. So yeah, how you can play that better, don't over aggro, and when you do so, have lib ready. Here's the point, here's the thing though, at the point in time when he takes aggro, so this is one of the things that I will never understand. If you want to parse, okay, you have an 8-second window with limited invulnerability potion. You already know that you're climbing threat. This guy, by the way, has no threat meter whatsoever as well, but has a big, massive damage done window, as if that would be relevant for winning the game. Oh wait, sorry, I stand correct. Down here you see actually the threat. So Web My Ash, it must have almost overtaken. I mean, look at the warriors, they are so close. Rohard barely keeps aggro at this point and tries to fight for it. So if you're at this point in the game, you do have 5% of Valestras left, just lip. Yep, costs you a few gold pieces, but you can simply lip. You're off the charts, and you can do what you want and get your parse in. But that's the point. This gentleman greeted and didn't want to lip, but just wanted to parse and zooked and killed another player with it. So that's what you can do better. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.